viewers, and welcome to Newsroom TV. I am Makanaka Masingama, and today I have Nigel Maritinyu. Okay, yeah. That's great. So Nigel is a comedian and a motivational speaker. Well, many people are committing suicide. Many people are having thoughts of killing themselves over different issues. And today I have Nigel who will help us and will discuss on issues on why people are committing suicide and what can be done so that people can not do this bad deed. Nigel, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. So our viewers want to know, who is Nigel and what does Nigel do?
Okay. My name is Nigel Maritinyu. I'm a comedian. I'm an inspirational speaker. Some call it motivational speaking. Basically, I'm a content creator. I create content for my online platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So basically, I use these platforms to create content for entertainment and inspiration. So I do comedy skits and create inspirational videos, which I've been doing since 2017. So it's been about 2 years now. Yeah, basically that's me. Professionally, I studied electronic engineering, but I have a passion for arts and media, so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So yes, basically that's me.
Okay, Nigel, I've seen most of your videos on your YouTube channel,
yeah.
And you have been giving motivating messages to people now and again,
yeah.
And most of your messages you derive them maybe from even the Bible, the
yeah.
scriptures,
yeah.
And I understand that to our viewers, this discussion is going to help one or two people. We want to talk about suicide.
Okay.
I understand that last month or 2 months back, there was a pastor who threw himself from the 3rd floor at Julius Nyerere Parkade. And there were so many issues around that incident which happened. Some people said it was due to marital problems. Some people, they were saying that it was financial problems and the likes. And a few weeks later, an 18-year-old boy also went on the same spot and threw himself and he died. And issues to do around this boy were that he was saying that my mom is giving me so much pressure. I'm going to school. My mom is working so hard. This country is very difficult. And he was thinking a lot. So this information came after he died through his friends. And there are so many cases. People are burning themselves. So many cases. So maybe probably you can share with us why do you think that? What do you think that people are thinking that killing themselves is the better way?
Okay, I think there are a lot of issues, a lot of factors that contribute to suicide. First and foremost, I think African societies, especially Zimbabwean societies, have not really done much to address issues to do with mental health. Only until recently, when people started becoming more and more aware of it. In the past, if you are someone who is young, if you are in your teens or in your youth, if you tell your parents that you are stressed or something is stressing you, you would often not be taken seriously, because they would say, what would stress a young child like you? What's there to stress about?
Yeah, parents often say,
exactly. So because of that, generally people have never been forthcoming when they are having mental issues, when they have anxiety, when they have stress and stuff like that. So generally, first of all, that war that has been created around things to do with mental health has made it very difficult for people to come out in the open, which is why some people would think that suicide is an option. And also, obviously, the economic pressures have contributed a lot, because usually when someone is occupied with a lot to do, either you are working or you are studying or you are being progressive in your life, usually negative thoughts do not have such a grip over you. But when nothing is going on well for you, if you lack the proper guidance, if you lack the best assistance or the right kind of influence, you are very likely to entertain thoughts of ending your life. And the other thing is, generally the way the world is going, not only in Zimbabwe, but generally world over, maybe because of technology, because of so much that people are trying to achieve in so little time, societies have become a bit disconnected. Families are disjointed. We hardly have social time like we used to have, maybe 10, 15 years back, where people would sit down and talk about issues, and people would sit down and discuss things as a family or just have a good time. People are always on their phones, or people are away working, and maybe the father is not there, the mom is not there. So because of all these issues, it has caused people to take matters into their own hands to try and deal with things, whether it's a financial issue, it's an emotional issue, psychological, social. People are trying to deal with things on their own, so sometimes it becomes really overwhelming, and people just find maybe suicide being the only way out. So I think those factors I listed, together with a whole lot of other things, have contributed to where we are right now.
All right. So you are talking of factors that can contribute to one then committing suicide. Now I want to look at different segments. We've got the youth, we've got the adults. They are, these two groups, they are faced with the different pressures.
Yeah.
Let's start with the youth. People are dating. They have relationships, and in relationships there can be problems, which comes in relationships, and there are people in relationships who are facing so much pressure, and then they think that killing themselves or committing suicide is the better way out. What do you have in today's world? What do you have to say about that?
Okay, I think primarily what we have to look at is before we try and analyze the problem, it is always wise to try and look at the foundation of the problem, or the root of the problem. So you will find that a lot of relationships nowadays, I'm not trying to be stereotypical and just say all the relationships are meaningless, but a lot of relationships that are happening in our youth, say from the ages of 16 to around 25, 28, you will find that the foundations are wrong. Usually they are usually based on pressure, they are based on competition, because you feel like I'm the only one who's left out, because of things like the internet, that's really there to just show you everybody's life in your face. So you're always up to date with what the person is next to you is doing. So this person is dating so and so, this one is in a relationship, and then you find you feel like I'm the only one who's left out, and then you get into a relationship for the wrong reasons. I'm just citing one of the things that lead to shaky relationships and stuff like that. And then when these things go wrong, so like I said earlier on, that we have a very weak social structure nowadays. We have very cosmetic relationships that are only on the surface. A lot of people, it's unfortunate that we no longer really have real friendships and real family bonds and family ties, such that when things go wrong in a relationship, the advice that you are probably going to get from people and is usually not healthy for you. And a lot of times young people are not in a space to go and talk about relationship issues with their moms or their dads, because sometimes people get into relationships too early, or they are doing it the wrong way. So at the end of the day, they cannot go to find proper advice from people who've walked that path before. So like I said, at the end of the day, people try to deal with these things, take matters into their own hands, and it becomes really overwhelming. And it's usually one young person to another who's telling you that, no, you must get this other boyfriend, or try to keep up and stuff like that. So it's really the blind leading the blind. Unlike what I think was there in the past, where when it gets to a point where you feel like I should be in a relationship, there should be one tete or someone who knows what's going on. So if you go to that person and you say, this guy is trying to do this, or this woman is acting this way, you get the proper advice. They'll tell you to leave that person, or they'll tell you, no, bring this person over, let's discuss this and stuff like that. But because there are no channels or platforms like that where people are taking their issues to get proper advice or counseling, and then that's what's leading them to just end up, taking matters into their own hands.
Yeah, I also think that, this channels are there. Yeah. Our tetes are there, our seguros are there. Even the church, Kuma youth, but youth are not participating, or they're running away. I don't know for what reason.
Well, yes, you're right. You see, the challenge is modern problems require modern solutions. In as much as the end goal is the same, you want to help save the younger generation, or you want to assist them to have a better future. But I think there has been there is a gap that has been failed to be bridged in terms of like those structures that you have said.
Yeah.
But in most cases, in most churches, in most setups, you will find that those you are saying are responsible for giving us advice and leading us the right way, or those states, you will find that instead of trying to really study the current pressures and the current demands that youth are facing, and seeing how they can intervene, they insist on, they usually just bash. They'll be like, you know what, like what you're saying, Guti, my youth, you are not forthcoming. It's because the youth feel like they are not understood. They feel like, no, if I go there and I tell them that I met this guy online, they are just going to say, it's about Facebook, and well, in some cases, I go to the serious, I go on our Facebook or whatever. So I think there has to be a way in which those people in those structures are able to really understand, the current pressures. Because pressure ya komazwano because right now I have access, like I can talk to someone who is in the United States right now, I can talk to someone who is in Guero right now, except unlike Kudara, you're only talking to that one girl who is down the street in your road, and that's all you have access to, so you had a lot less to deal with. So if those people who are in these structures are really able to appreciate and acknowledge that the pressures have sort of evolved to some extent, and then that's how they can develop ways that are relevant to help this current generation.
Indeed. Thank you very much for following us on TV. I am Makana Kasiyama, and I have Nigel, and we are discussing on issues to do with the suicidal cases, why people are committing suicide, and how best this can be dealt with. So, Nigel, we've been talking about relationships and the youth. Now, suicidal cases are also being found in adults, in married people. I understand the institution of marriage is complicated as it is. Nowadays, what you have talked about relationships being based on wrong foundations. Now, what you have to say about someone who is in marriage and having suicidal thoughts?
Right. Well, I think generally for those who in marriage and having suicidal thoughts, and generally the older generation, I think that's where the question lies, right? To say, what about people who are 35, 40, 50, who are contemplating suicide and all that? I think it stems from what I highlighted earlier on, that issues to do with mental health, especially in men, what we as men are trained growing up in our culture and in our society, is that the man is always strong, the man never cries, the man of the house never buckles under pressure, he never has problems, he never has to acknowledge his weaknesses, otherwise that weakness will be mistaken for being a failure and stuff like that. So because people do not, the channels are there, but because these channels are not conventionally accepted within our society and within our culture, you ask people how many people have ever been to see a counselor. There are very few people who think it's necessary. How many people have ever been to see a psychologist when they're having, you know, psychological issues? But the same way we need to take care of our bodies and watch what goes inside our bodies, the same way we need to exercise. It's the same way we need to have these same exercises for our mental health. So because people are not really open to institutions and solutions that have been set, like going for counseling and really just trying to solve their problems on their own, because sometimes people feel like, okay, if I go and report or if I talk to my parents about what is going on, if I talk to my friend about what is going on in my marriage, they're going to think that I'm failing and whatnot and this and that. So people stay quiet, you know, and these things eat them up. So at the end of the day, whenever you feel like everything that you are facing in your life is entirely up to you, you will get overwhelmed. One of the reasons why the church offers a solution to some of the problems we face is because it creates a platform that shows you that the solutions to my problems are not entirely my responsibility. So the moment you feel a bit of the weight of your burden being taken off your shoulders, you feel better about that, and your eyes you know, tend to get open to see solutions and stuff. So because in most marriages and in most couples, people don't really open up about the challenges they are facing. People don't want to take the professional steps of seeing counselors and seeing psychologists and getting all this kind of help because of the way that society has trained us to just deal with things. Sometimes people tell, you know, women, but and you know, stuff like that. But in some cases, the solution is not prayer. In that particular case, maybe you just need to talk to someone. In some cases, you need to attend seminars. You need to talk with a professional. You need to, involve a third party and stuff like that. But I still really feel like people are not open to these, what we feel like these are just modern solutions and interventions. But I really feel like if people would be more open to the right people, then it would save, people from a lot of stress.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be taking a short break. Stay right with us. Welcome back to the program. I am Makanaka and I've got Nigel, and we're discussing on issues to do with suicidal cases. So Nigel, as we continue the discussion, now we can talk about how best can this suicidal cases can be dealt with. I understand you do skits and as well as motivational speaking. Yeah. So in your industry, what do you think, how best can people be assisted through entertainment, what you do, and through other platforms, so that this message of suicidal cases, so that people cannot do that?
All right. Well, generally my approach to the work that I do, creating the skits and inspirational videos, my drive is always to show the lighter side of life. Like when we do the skits, sometimes it's comedy. There may be no particular lesson to be derived from the video, but like they say, laughter is the best medicine. So sometimes when people just laugh, they get relief from their stress, they get relief from their problems, they get relief from whatever they'll be going through. So it just helps people see life in a different perspective, in a different view. If you're having something that was going on, in your day that was going wrong, and you watch something and it just makes you laugh, it refreshes your perspective on the day. And then with the inspirational messages, my drive is to create something that gives hope. Listening to a message does not necessarily instantly fix your life. Like you watch my message talking about you are meant to be great or whatever, it doesn't necessarily instantly pay the rent that's supposed to be paid. It doesn't instantly fix your marriage, but it gives you a perspective of hope. It just tells you that, okay, things may be hard today, but tomorrow might be better. Because what people just generally need in life is hope. That when you see someone getting to a point where they've killed themselves, the person dies, but the first thing that would have died is hope. So when hope dies, that's when the person then dies. So what we are trying to do is to keep hope alive, because that's what keeps a person alive. So that's just the goal with all the work that I'm doing. It's to try and entertain and also inspire, and just to make people feel like tomorrow might just be better for me. So if someone just holds on and says, okay, I wanted to end my life. Well, personally, for me, I have, when I talk about issues to do with mental health and stress and anxiety, I'm not talking about stuff that I've read on the internet or things that I've just read in books, but things that I've personally experienced.
Sure.
I know what it feels like to feel like life is not worth living. I've been there a couple of times when I just couldn't get myself to really, just end my life. But I really felt like, you know what, dying is better. Because in that particular moment, the pressures of life are there to convince you that there is nothing worth living for. So what personally helped me is having a good network of people around. Sometimes I just look at people in how they choose friends and establish relationships, and I feel sorry for them. One of the things I'm mostly grateful for in my life is having a good support system. I have really supportive friends, people who can be there for you, people who really want to know what's going on with your life, and who will stand by you. So that's one of the things that I would advise people to do. It's better for you to have 5 friends, but actual friends that you can count on, than to have your phone book full of 100 people that you cannot call any single one of them when you are in any kind of trouble, whether it's financial, whether it's just mental pressure, whether it's psychological, whether it's emotional or spiritual. But just having the assurance that I have people that I can confide in, people that I can consult, people who can say, you know what, I don't really have a solution to the problem you're facing, but I'm going to be there for you.
Sure.
Yeah.
So when you say you want to do a certain act, you say that probably you don't do it for the sake of people just to laugh.
Yeah.
So do you think of such detrimental issues like what we're discussing now?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. It's always at the back of my mind when I'm doing what I'm doing. So sometimes, even if it's something as simple as a post, just typing something on Facebook or on Twitter, before I do it, I carry the awareness and the consciousness that what I'm writing right now may come into contact with somebody who is going through a very difficult time in their lives. So I always try to make it as impactful and as meaningful as possible. So yes, I do always carry the consciousness that, and even from the comments, you sometimes, just read the comments, people are like, you really make my day, even when my day was going the other way, you always give me a fresh perspective. And that alone, it really, it always realigns my focus when I'm doing my work. I get to understand that, okay, these may be jokes, but they actually mean a whole lot more to somebody.
Sure. And I also do understand you also...
Yes.
They also have their own thinking and their own way of understanding.
Yeah.
So as comedians, when you come to push for a certain goal, do you also think of these things? Yes, you do. You make people laugh, and these skits are very nice. And as comedians, do you also think and issues to do with helping the society, detrimental issues affecting the society?
Yes, definitely. We do, because there gets to a point. Sometimes when you start doing the work that we do, all you're interested in is just sharing your talent and creating whatever you want. But then sometimes you see how much you've grown and you see how much influence your work has. So when we look at that, we'll be like, okay, so how can we make the most out of the influence we have? And like recently, we worked on a series which we just started out of, just pure fun. It was just enjoyment. Where there was a scenario where this boy is impregnated this girl and whatnot and whatnot. But we saw how much, how much people liked it. Like in only a few days, it was over 100,000 views on all our platforms.
Wow.
So we were like, okay, I think we need to do a part 2 of this thing.
Sure.
But we can also address the issue of domestic violence, the issue of abuse. So it's always in our minds to say, how can we be both funny and meaningful at the same time?
Sure.
So yeah, we always carry that consciousness of just trying to make the society better in whatever we do. Yeah.
That's great. Well, as we round up this program, probably just one word or you would like to give someone who is having suicidal thoughts right now.
All right, so to anybody who may be having suicidal thoughts or just going under, a phase of mental pressure or any kind of stress or anxiety, I would just like to encourage you and to remind you that where you are right now does not determine who you are. It's only a phase and a season in your life. So, just as we have day and night, we have ups and downs. That's the same thing with life, that we go through moments. But these moments are not there to define us. They don't, where you are does not say who you are. I believe strongly that God has created you for a purpose that is much higher than the circumstances that you are facing. So if you are only able to remind yourself that you are worth far much greater than the situations that you are facing, you are worth far much greater than what people may even be saying. And if you are just able to hold on and maintain a clear perspective of your true identity, of who God made you to be, of God's intention for your life, you will be able to hold on through the night. So don't give up hope. Don't stop working. Don't even entertain the idea of giving up on life, because your life means a lot to so many people around you and to so many people you are yet to meet. You have gifts, you have ideas, you have capabilities, you have so much potential that is waiting to be celebrated by the world. So don't you dare give up on yourself. Don't you dare give up on us. Don't you dare give up on God's dream, because you are God's dream. So my encouragement is, whenever you feel like the pressure is too much, get somebody to talk to. Try to occupy yourself. Be honest about how you are feeling. Cry if you have to. Break down if you have to. But as long as you have to keep moving, and as long as you make a vow and a promise to yourself that you're not going to give up on life, because life has a lot in store for you. So don't you give up, because God loves you.
Wow. Thank you very much, Nigel. That was quite powerful. Thank you very much, viewers, for following us. And we had Nigel in the studio, and we're discussing issues to do with suicidal cases. And Nigel has just given us everything that he brings. Well, do follow us on our Facebook page, on our YouTube, and on our website, which is www.newzimbabwe.com. And Nigel, thank you very much for giving us your time.
Thank you so much, Maka.
All right. So as of now, we say bye-bye.